Welcome to the Weekly Roar, coming live from the Lion's Den, helping new managers become great leaders and awesome bosses. And now, here's your host, Greg Storch.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the Lion's Den. This is the Weekly Roar. Today, another lesson learned in leadership. Man, it is hard to believe that we're finally approaching the end of the year. Time seems to have crept by us this year during this pandemic. So I thought it was only fitting that I talk to you today about a secret I learned about managing time. I'm going to talk all about that in just a second. But first, my name is Greg Storch. I'm the owner of Lion Enterprise, host of the Weekly Roar, and the founder of a worldwide bartered coaching program called The Helping Hand. I'm a certified professional leadership coach and a certified leadership speaker and trainer. Now, if you joined us last week in the Lion's Den, or if you caught the replay of the Weekly Roar, then you got to catch my talk about how one of the biggest mistakes we can make as a leader is not asking what mistake we're making. Embracing the mistakes we make and learning the lessons from them is what ensures our growth personally and professionally. And that's why I shared 5 actions to take if you want to fail successfully. Now, if you weren't able to join us last Wednesday for the Weekly Roar, or if you just need to get caught up, or maybe you just want to watch that session over again, you can access the free video resources on my website at lion-enterprise.com. When you go to the homepage, just click on the Lion's Pride Library menu and find video number 136 for last week. And while you're in the Lion's Pride Library, make sure you look around and stay a while. It's a free resource, and it's a great way for you to get more of the roar. Okay, it's time to get today's topic started, and I'm calling this lesson learned the secret to time management. You know, for years, I listened to people talk about time management and the side effects that can occur when time management is done poorly. I've seen systems and schedulers and notebooks all designed to make us better managers of time. I don't think there are any successful people out there that don't use some sort of time management system. But here's the thing. Our ability to maximize our time is essential to our productivity and our effectiveness. But what I love about time is that it doesn't discriminate. It's as equal opportunity can get. This analogy actually sums it up quite nicely, and that is that everybody's day is like an identical suitcase. It's the same dimensions for all of us. Yet some people can pack more into their suitcase than others. The thing that makes them different is that they know what to pack in their suitcase. You see, we all have the same 24 hours each day, right? I think we'd all agree with that. Now, if I'm wrong and you have 23 hours or 25 hours, raise your hand. Exactly. Not a hand went up in the room. That's because one thing I know is that while we all have the same amount of hours in the day, not everyone gets the same out of it. And the second thing I know, and this is the secret I want to share with you today about time management, and that is that there is no such thing as time management. It's an oxymoron, really. Time can't be managed or controlled. No matter what we do, it's going to tick and tick on by whether we do something or not. We can't save the unused minutes and bank them to use some other day. The counter resets to 0 every day and begins another 24-hour countdown. It's another opportunity, another window for us to get done the things we need to get done. Now, I don't know how many times I've told myself that I need to find the time to do something. Does that sound familiar to you guys? Have you ever heard yourself saying, I really need to find the time to do X, Y, or Z? Well, I hate to say it, but you can stop looking. You aren't going to find any time more than what is already sitting there in front of you. 24 hours is the best we're going to get. I love what Stephen Covey said, that time management is really a misnomer. The challenge isn't to manage time, but to manage ourselves. The key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. Well, I guess I've let the proverbial cat out of the bag. The secret to time management isn't just that we can't manage time, it's really this. Now, write this part down. If we want to make the most of the hours we have, if we want to pack the most things that we can into that suitcase, then we have to realize the things that are in our control. Controlling time is not something we control, is it? No, of course not. I just got done sharing that with you. So, to be successful, we have to focus on what we do control. And with that said, you have now probably figured out what my big secret is to time management. The secret to time management is not managing time, but managing ourselves. Okay, lesson over. That's all I got for you. The secret's out. I'm just kidding. Nothing separates successful people from the unsuccessful ones more than how they use their time, how good they can get at packing that suitcase. And getting good at packing that suitcase comes from knowing what to pack. That's how you maximize the space in the case. Successful people, successful leaders know where their time goes. They can account for that 24 hours that they have. The same 24 hours that the other guy that isn't as successful as they are. And when we do things that don't produce positive returns, we're just wasting time. Now, I don't want any of you wasting your lives on things that aren't going to produce positive results. So today, I wanted to share some insights with you on what it looks like when people can't properly manage themselves. Knowing these three things can help you identify potential areas where you may need to get stronger in order to get better at managing yourself and get better at packing the right stuff into that suitcase. Now, this doesn't involve me selling you the latest planner or some digital product, sure to manage your time in the best way possible. While calendars and planners are great tools to help us manage ourselves, we need to get away from seeing them as a way to manage time because they simply don't. So, in my mind, our time is our truest currency. We trade time for paper money, right? But that exchange of time is really what gets us anything in life. If you think about it, everything we buy, everything we pay for is with time, right? Say I wanted to purchase a $50,000 car. Well, I have to trade time to earn that money, right? If it takes me 1 year of my time to earn that $50,000, then that car cost me a year of my time. Now, if you agree with this concept, then follow along with me here as I talk about the three things people who can't manage themselves are guilty of doing. Okay, first, people who manage themselves poorly are guilty of letting others spend their currency. time. We have to control our spending, and we can't allow others to determine how we're going to spend the only real currency we have, and that's time. When others determine how we pack our suitcase, when they determine what we place in the suitcase, we can be really busy, but also really ineffective. If you want to get the most bang for your buck, so to speak, then you have to spend time focused on your vision and not on the other people's expectations. Let me say it this way. If you spent some time finding your why, then I'll tell you that you can't do the things that are aligned with your why when you're busy focusing on what others want you to be. We have to make our own contributions to the world, and we need to understand that no one can do that for us. The secret to success with this one is to get intentional with the things you spend time on. That allows us to stay focused on the things we do well and to spend our limited time there on the things we are doing well instead of somewhere else. That's not getting us the same kind of return on where we're spending our time. Now, if you want to be more effective in life and leadership, then you must get good at spending your own currency instead of letting others spend it for you. For a pulse check on this one, just ask yourself where you're spending your time right now. If more of your time is being spent to meet someone else's expectations of you, then you need to do a better job at managing yourself. You see, when we spend our time doing what others want us to do, we end up undervaluing our own authenticity. All right, second, people who poorly manage themselves are also guilty of spending their currency on the wrong things. So you should be asking yourselves, well, what are the right things? And my short answer is anything that directly contributes to moving you in the direction of your desired destination. You can use two factors to help identify whether something is worthy of your time and attention. And those two criteria are importance and urgency. And when you rank them by importance, ask yourself which things are critical, which are necessary, which ones of those tasks that you have to do are important, and which one are just marginal. Go ahead and rank those by importance. Then for urgency, you have to decide the timeline for getting these done. Is it in this month, this quarter, next year? You have to determine the time. That's your urgency. Doing those things are going to help you avoid spending your currency on things that aren't as important as others or that don't need to be done as soon as others. Remember, we only have so many hours in a day, and successful people are the ones who know what to pack in that suitcase. Those who know what needs to get packed get the most into their case. In other words, those who know which tasks must be accomplished in the time they have available will best utilize the limited time that they have. As Henry David Thoreau said, it isn't enough to be busy, so are the ants. The question is, what are we busy about? When we spend our time doing the things that aren't that important, we end up ruining our effectiveness. All right, now, the third thing that people who poorly manage themselves are guilty of is spending their currency without proper guidance from the right people. See, one of the most important things we can do, whether it's in our personal lives or our professional lives, is seek the help of those who have gone before us. This is the power of mentoring and coaching. And since I've been using the analogy of time being like currency, I would liken this to investing your money without the help or guidance from someone who manages money for a living. You don't manage your own 401k, do you? No. Well, I don't. I let Fidelity do that because they do it for a living. I don't. Now, as a certified professional leadership coach, I'd be remiss if I didn't plug the profession of coaching and how important it can be in this. Whether it's coaching or mentoring, they can both make a huge difference in how productive people can be with the time that they have. Here's the thing. If you want to make the most of your time, you have to make the most of yourself. And you can do that by finding someone to help you improve your abilities. When we try to accomplish things without the proper coaching or mentoring, we end up reducing our potential. So there they are. Those are the three things that people are guilty of doing when they're poor managers of their own time. First, they allow others to spend their currency. In other words, they give others way too much control over their time, leaving little control to manage it themselves. That devalues their uniqueness. Second, they spend their currency on the wrong things. That's a priority issue, and they aren't prioritizing their tasks appropriately. That makes them ineffective. And then the third thing is that they try to do things without getting help from those who have gone before them. When we try to figure it out on our own without coaching or mentoring, we just end up lowering the bar on our own potential. There really is an art to managing our lives, and that's exactly how we make the most out of the time that we have. But take comfort in knowing that this isn't something we were born doing. We have to grow into it. The reason it separates unsuccessful from successful people is because a lot of people don't ever even learn how to manage their lives. Understanding that the best way to manage the time we have is to manage our lives better is the secret. That's the thing we can control. Life management starts with an awareness of time and the choices we should make in order to use that time wisely. So there you have it, you guys. There's the real secret about time management. The only true way to manage the time we have is to really manage our lives so we're spending that currency in the right places, in the right way, on the right things. All right, everyone, that's gonna do it for me today. I've wasted enough of your time. See what I did there? Well, that's it. That's the last weekly roar of 2020. I want to take a second just to thank all of you for being with me throughout this past year. I've really enjoyed being with you every week as we keep exploring ways to be better leaders and better people. I'm going to continue the series next week. And so I want to ask you to please join me as we kick off 2021 with a bang. Next week, I want to speak to you about something that's really near and dear to my heart. This lesson in leadership is probably the most critical lesson that I've learned, and it's about the power of personal growth. Want to keep running to the roar? Come back to the Lion's Den next Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time and join me for the weekly roar. Thanks so much, everybody, for showing up today. I appreciate you, and I wish you and yours a safe and happy new year. Until we meet again next week, remember, be powerful, but stay poised just like a lion. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for watching the Weekly Roar live event at lionenterprise.com. If you enjoyed this video, please tell others to join us each week here in the Lion's Den. Thanks again, and see you next week.